Next thing you know, I get a knock on the door from the landlord. You got eviction notice. What you mean I got eviction notice? I just gave her the money to pay the rent.
Miss Bounty, did you take the rent money and leave town with it?
Yes, I did.
She's the judge who gives rules on the law and life. She's intense with common sense. She's Judge Lynn Toller on Divorce Court, where real couples deal with real life. Hope met her husband Tracy 6 years ago, and they married 1 year later. In the beginning, they enjoyed each other's company, going to movies and dining out. But tragedy struck, and this once loving marriage has crumbled, leaving both parties ready to move on.
I lost my daughter. She had a heart transplant. She was 1.5, and July of 2011, my son, who was 17, drowned at a local park.
I'm tired of death, I'm tired of funeral, I'm tired of all of this.
Hope says she's had enough of Tracy's cruelty and insensitivity. Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Hope Bounty and Tracy Bounty. Mr. and Mrs. Bounty, you have been married for 5 years. You are a stay-at-home mom, and you're a chef and a manager at a restaurant. I also have in the courtroom with me today Javon Bayless, and that is your son.
Yes. And
good day to you as well. You two are looking to get a divorce, and Mrs. Bounty, you are seeking $3,000 in transitional support from Mr. Bounty, and we are going to talk about that momentarily. Before we do, however, I want to start with you and ask you to tell me a little bit about your relationship and why we're here in divorce court today.
Well, Your Honor, we're here because my life is really just turned upside down. I lost my daughter, and she had a heart transplant. She was 1.5. And I haven't really gotten over her. She was my only daughter.
How long ago was that?
It was in 2005.
Ooh.
And she was the only daughter I had, and it's been rough just getting through her death. And July of 2011, my son, who was 17, drowned at a local park.
Mrs. Bounty, I am so sorry.
I can't even.
Graduated and everything. Got his tassel on, was ready to go.
Yes, was on his way to college. And I mean, I can't focus, I can't do just anything.
And that was just recently?
Just recently. And it's, you know, it was suddenly, he was like one of my closest kids. And it's just.
Had to affect every part of your life. How did it affect your marriage?
From every aspect. I'm not doing just anything I think that I'm supposed to do.
How has Mr. Bounty been with respect to that? Well, I mean, how has he been supportive?
He hasn't been there.
Yes, I have.
Tell me
been
about
there.
it. Hang on,
I have
Mr.
been
Bounty.
there for you.
Mrs. Bounty, tell me about that. Why don't you put those down? Breaking my heart.
I'm in
Mrs.
control.
Bounty, tell me how he's responded and how your life has been since that.
Just cruel. Controlling. If it's not about him, it's not about anything. I'm still, day-to-day basis. My mood is up and down. I can be sad one moment, I can be happy one moment. I try to cope because of my other kids.
Right.
It's really, really, really hard. And
what is he doing? How is he responding?
He's not really responding at all.
Give me an example of what he hasn't been doing to help you deal with what you're dealing with.
He didn't attend my son's birthday party. We had planned a party. He was turning 18.
How do you party
Hang on, Mr. Bounty. Mr. Bounty? Mr. Bounty. Mr. Bounty, look at me. When you're in here, you'll do as you're told. Do not speak until it's your turn to do so. Do we understand one another? I'm not doing that today. Yes, okay? I'm not doing that. You will respect me. Go ahead.
And we had planned a birthday party for my son.
How do you plan?
And
Mr. Bounty, are you incapable? Or you just don't understand or are unwilling? Which one is it? Thank you. Go ahead.
And we planned the party, and we had planned it for maybe about 2 months prior to his death. And it wasn't no problem all the way up to maybe about a week before the party. He decides we don't need any company. We don't need anybody to come out because we had like all our family and friends. It was like 100 people. We went all out, cake, DJ, you know, just, you know, family come together just to celebrate the life that he did have and his accomplishments. And he said he didn't want that to go on at the house. He didn't want to be part of any type of party. And if I had the party, he was not going to be in attendance.
Mr. Bounty, would you like to respond to both her allegation that you are uncaring, unfeeling with respect to her pain, and about the reasons why you didn't want to go to that party?
Because, Your Honor, how do you party for the dead? I mean, we're supposed to mourn and everything, but we're not supposed to party. I work every day. I work 8 days a week, hard. And I be tired when I get off work. 8 days a week. And I be tired when I get off work, so I don't feel like no partying or nothing.
So that's two different reasons. One, you felt that the event was inappropriate for the occasion.
Yes, ma'am.
That, and two, you were tired from working and you didn't feel like being involved in all that in your house.
Everybody take death different than I do. I take death different than everybody else do. So I done had so much death in my life that I just try to block it out of my life.
Do you understand that it's not about you, it's about her? Do you get that part?
Yes, I do.
That her son's death is, I mean, it affects you, but nothing like it affects her. And sometimes when you're grown and a man and caring, you have to do things that are uncomfortable for you in order to support those that you are supposed to love, protect, and care for. You got that part?
Yes, ma'am.
When divorce court continues, has Tracy been locking his family out of the house?
He has locked us out and said, oh, you don't pay rent, so you don't call no shots, you don't have no rules, y'all can stay outside.
Do you wish you had listened to your mother? Are you ready to dump your mate? If you are, call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com and become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court is back with the case of Hope Bounty, who claims her husband, Tracy, has been callous about her feelings.
If it's not about him, it's not about anything.
Tell me what your concerns are with respect to your wife.
My respect to my wife is I love our work. I get up every day, I go to work. I work 8 days a week, I work hard, and then I come home, I don't have no dinner, I don't have no food on the table. The house is all nasty. She's sitting around, she just stuck, and she don't want to go on with the life. I tell her,
that's not true.
The son, our son is passed now. We got to still go on with life. Bills still got to be paid.
Do you think she hasn't done anything to move on? I mean, has she looked to get counseling or hasn't?
No, she haven't did nothing to move on. She's like, she just stuck. I mean, just like I done lost her.
Is it just this one issue about which he is unfeeling, or do you find that to be his very nature?
That's his nature. He would shut the lights off on us if we're making too much noise. He will have us outside in the rain if he felt like we're doing too much.
Mr. Bounty, don't interrupt. It's very simple. I'll get to you. Mrs. Bounty?
He'll have us out in the rain. He has locked us out and said, oh, you don't pay rent, so you don't call no shots, you don't have no rules, y'all can stay outside.
And locked you out in the rain?
And locked me out. Me and the kids, yes.
Have you done that, Mr. Bounty?
Yes, I have. Because when I get home,
explain the circumstances.
When I get home from work, I've been on work a 15-hour shift. I'll be tired, be ready to take a shower and lay down and relax. I run a restaurant, and I go through a lot at work already. So when I get home, I just want to just mellow out and stuff.
Give me some other examples. I mean, not that it isn't enough, but he put you out in the rain. What else?
My son had got injured. They called me to say that he was in emergency. They didn't tell me exactly what was going on.
Right.
I went to my husband.
She is lying.
To let me
Mr. Bounty,
know.
have a seat. Have a seat.
I went to my husband to, you know, let him know what was going on and that we needed to go down and check on him. He said, no, you're not using a car. I'm not taking you. Find one of your other sons to go down there and check on him. I'm tired of about the kids. I'm tired of the kids. Every time you turn around, there's something with the kids. And so I literally got on the city bus and went and seen about my son. Luckily, and God willing,
he was all right. He was all right.
Yes.
But the way things have been going for you, you would never know because it's been terrible. Mr. Bayless, if you could come forward, please. Good day to you, sir. How old are you?
20.
You're 20 years old. What you doing with your life? What are you doing? Working, going to school?
Working in school.
Liking you already. Mr. Bayless, why don't you tell me what you see within the context of your mother's relationship with her husband?
I don't think he's right for her at all.
What have you seen? What is the one incident you would like me to know about that you feel exemplifies what's going on over at their house?
Like, it's constantly arguing, and I actually moved away because I didn't want to deal with it anymore.
It was too much?
Yeah.
How many kids do you have left living with you?
2.
2?
Yes.
Okay. Are they under 18?
Yes.
Okay.
They have no choice.
Okay. Yeah, right. Mr. Bounty, can you act like you got some sense? No interrupting?
Yeah.
You can do it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Positive.
Bring it on up. Now, Mr. Bounty, look me in the eye.
Okay.
Nobody's all bad, nobody's all wrong. And I want you to tell me something. Give me an opportunity to see the good in you. Respond to what they've said to me about how you treat them.
Okay. Ma'am, you try to live my life. You try to live in a house with 9 kids.
When divorce court continues, is Hope being a responsible wife?
I give her the money to go pay the bills. Next thing you know, she ain't paid the bills. She took the money and went out of town.
If you would like your case heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter @DivorceCourt. Divorce Court returns with the case of Tracy Bounty, who says his wife refuses to move past the recent death of her 17-year-old son. But will Judge Lynn order Tracy to pay transitional costs for Hope to relocate?
I'm not giving her a dime.
There are 9 children in the house?
It was at the time. It was 9 kids.
At one point?
Yeah, you try to live with a house with 9 kids.
Any of them yours?
Yes.
3 of them.
3 of them were yours,
Yes.
and the other 6 were yours?
Yes.
I take care of everything. I pay the bills. And I just want to respect when I come home. I give her money to go pay the bill. It's the time where I don't have time to go pay bills.
Yeah.
That's what a wife is for. She's supposed to be there to pay the bills to everything while I go out and work. I give her the money to go pay the bills. Next thing you know, she ain't paid the bills. She took the money and went out of town. I get on for work. I did a 15-hour shift. Come in the house all nasty. So in my mind, okay, let me clean up the house because I'm here by myself. I clean up the house. Next thing you know, I get a knock on the door from the landlord. You got eviction notice. What you mean I got eviction notice? I just gave her the money to pay the rent. She get back in town, oh, I needed the money to go out of town.
Got it, got it. Miss Bounty, did you take the rent money and leave town with it?
Yes, I did.
Explain that to me.
Because
You may sit down, Mr. Bayless. Thank you so much.
before this, we have been planning to move to Georgia. We're moving from Michigan to Georgia.
Uh-huh.
I had been talking about that I was going to look for a place in Georgia for 2 months. 2 months I've been talking about this. He had told me, don't worry about anything. I will give you the money that you need to go and do what you got to do to find somewhere.
Was he on board with moving to Georgia with you?
Yes,
You both
he
were
was.
gonna
I
go?
was not.
Yes,
Okay, I'm
No, I
gonna
was not.
ask
How
you.
is I'm gonna be on board to move? I've been working at this job 10 years. Why should I leave and pick up and leave this job and go down to Georgia to do nothing? She is not doing nothing here but drinking, smoking, and just wasting her life. So I'm supposed to follow her to another country to do nothing?
Well, another state.
Well, another state, whatever I want to call it, to do nothing?
Right. Mrs. Bounty, why don't you give me what was the last straw?
When he
Final straw for you.
He told me one day I was crying about my son, and he told me, "Why are you crying? I'm tired of you crying. I'm tired of hearing about Daniel. I'm tired." And that was just it. That was the most insensitive thing that you could ever say. I cry about memories. I cry about anything, thought that might come. My son, he was just a son. Okay?
He was a good son.
Good son.
Yeah. As far as your mothering skills are concerned, I don't know the rest of the kids, but you got two winners. That one and the one you lost. So at least we know.
Thank you.
We know you hitting a couple of things out of the park, because it's not an easy thing to do, and I want you to understand that.
All boys.
So he got mad because you wouldn't stop crying.
Yes.
Mr. Bounty, do you recall that incident?
No, I don't recall that incident, ma'am. And I'm tired of death. I'm tired of funeral. I'm tired of all of this.
You are a very self-centered and obnoxious individual.
Yes.
When divorce court continues, is Tracy in for a rude awakening?
But right now, we ain't found each other. She's still out here lost.
She sees you. That's why she's leaving.
Exactly. Yes, Your Honor.
Divorce court returns with the case of Hope and Tracy Bounty, who are in court today to call it quits after 5 years of marriage.
Mrs. Bounty, you are seeking $1,000 for the actual move to Georgia, $1,500 in rent while you're looking for employment, and $500 in food. Yes. That's what she is asking for after 5 years of marriage. Why don't you respond to me about that request? What do you think of it?
I'm not giving her a dime.
Well, I mean, I understand you don't want to give it to her, but you tell me why.
All these 9 kids, all I've been through with her, out of death, going through funerals, going through all this, take care of her, take care of the bills and stuff. You actually think I'm going to stand up here and give her $3,000?
Did she take care of your kids too?
Yes. Yes.
When she could.
His kids graduated because
all my
took
kids
them
is
to
grown
school.
now.
I think you're a heck of a mother. I really do.
Listen, all the kids almost grown now. 2 little ones left. I thought after they leave, then it'd just be me and her. We can go on with our life and, find each other. But right now, we ain't find each other. She's still out here lost.
She sees you. That's why she's leaving.
Exactly. Yes, Your Honor.
Here's what I'm going to say. Mr. Bounty, you're not going to hear a word of it. I'm just going to say it to edify myself, and then I'm going to move on to her. That woman lost her son, and you showed her no kindness, no respect. You put your emotions ahead of the most. I can't even, I know I couldn't find my kid in a grocery store once, and how devastating that was. Yes. To raise one up in Detroit where it's tough, and he's got his tassel on and he rounds, that took her heart and just tore it out of her chest, and you just didn't care. I mean, it's to be that self-centered is beyond imagination. It speaks volumes about who you are. Mrs. Bounty, I say get up and get to going. You're a good mother. You've done a good job. You continue to do a good. You are not defined by the foolishness that he has brought to your doorstep. Please move on and move forward. You will do well. You will heal. You'll never get over it, but you will heal. You spent all your time in here telling me about how you're the breadwinner. You're the breadwinner. You're the breadwinner. You know what happens when the breadwinner gets divorced? He pays transitional support. He pays transitional support for the woman that he supported. I find that $3,000 that she's asking for after all she's done more than reasonable, and she's going to get it. $3,000 in favor of Mrs. Bounty. It is so ordered.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Hope reports that after the show, life with Tracy failed to improve, so she moved to Georgia much sooner than she had planned. Tracy didn't want her to leave, but her mind was made up, and she left without him. Her children are staying with her mother for now, and she will send for them as soon as she gets settled.